Welcome to the show. Today we are talking about bad interviews.
Oh.
Worst interview I had. This is from Reddit recruiting hell thread. Worst interview I had. They kept running a scenario where I was getting sexually harassed over and over. And when I said after the 5th time I would probably break the guy's nose, they asked me to leave for making an unsafe work environment.
Wow. The audacity. Wow.
Well, I know what the correct answer is. Do you know what the correct answer to that question is?
No, what is it?
So if you
I
were
thought they
being
gave the
sexually
correct
harassed
answer.
over and over and over again, the correct answer is there's 2 things you do when you're sexually harassed.
Okay.
So what I do with you when you harass me. Money, stop that. I don't like it. Don't touch me there.
Doesn't stop anything, but yeah, you do that.
Well, see? Workplace. So I'm going to sue this guy, my boss here.
I don't want to be in the middle anymore.
No, there's 2 things you can do. It's like, hey, that's inappropriate. Stop. Don't ever do that again. You tell them. If they do it again, you go to management. Those are the answers they're looking for. You go to management.
Oh, gotcha.
That's what they were looking for.
They're not looking for.
They're not saying, hey, I mean, the funny thing is you go through it, it says, oh, wow, it sounds like they knew they had a problem with sexual harassment. Gross. Or was trying to make it something you used to get away with.
Right.
LOL, they were explicit about it. Like, are you okay with being harassed? No, I mean, it is kind of weird though, right? That's a scenario for a question.
Why would that be a scenario?
And that they were pushing that hard because they said they asked multiple times.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? And they find
5th time.
Yeah.
5 years, over and
That's-
over again. That is interesting.
in
Yeah.
an interview, like
No.
work for a corporate company, that came in the video that you had to watch.
You know,
once you got the job.
we should have interviewed her for this position.
The scowl.
That look, no, she's like, motherfucker.
Scowl says she's still scowling. That's the thing about Butter. You look away. And you,
I know. I tried. I couldn't get away because I could see it in the screen. Oh, there too.
It's the timing of her scowl. I'm like, oh,
Anyway.
it's over. Nope.
So yeah, but my first thought when I'm reading that, I was like, oh, they're looking for these are the things you should do.
Yeah.
But then again,
But
it's
the
like,
fact
why
that
are
they
you?
did it 5 times?
Yeah.
When I'm interviewing people, you have 1 time to answer this question. Your answer is it, and we're moving on to the next question.
Yeah.
Or I'm about to kind of round everything up and be like, thanks for your time. We'll be in touch. If it's really that bad of an answer that I don't even want to move on. But 5 times?
It's like, no, you didn't answer right. Let's try it again from the top. Like, no.
This is going to be a problem. We need to know that you're going to handle it correctly.
This is going to happen.
God.
So let's say you're in a scenario where what do you do? Where I come up behind you and what do you do?
It's almost like the person doing the interview knew they're the ones that are committing the problem.
Exactly.
So they're trying to see how are you going to react to me doing this.
But the
That's awful.
fact that I want to take this as being true, but the fact that they said, oh my God, making an unsafe work environment. What are you talking about?
That made it unsafe.
It's already unsafe,
Uh-huh.
right? That's already unsafe.
Sounds like they
Anyway.
would fit right in.
Oh Lord. Boy. So another one that I read, and it's not nearly as funny as that, but it was guy was interviewing for it's not even a bad interview, but I thought it was interesting. He was interviewing for like a computer repair shop, and they said a person calls up and says that their computer screen won't turn on. What's the first question you ask?
Did you press the power button?
Well, they push the power button, it's not turning on.
Is it plugged in?
There you go.
Is it
plugged in?
Every IT person's
Yep.
first
Yeah.
go-to.
Is it plugged in? Oh, you're right.
I know they're
How
gonna-
often have you actually
Oh.
troubleshot everything else and then like,
It's happened, so they're justified. But it's a little annoying because you know they're gonna ask it. Or at least in my case, I know they're gonna ask it, and I've already done it. I'm like, yes, and I try not to be rude because I know they don't know my skill set when it comes to the knowledge I know about computers or whatever the case is. But it's just like, yes, it's plugged in.
I used to do tech support years and years ago.
Well, what gets me is because I'm
and
talking to him.
Never failed that it wasn't plugged in.
Problem is, it's usually like I'm talking to you on a Zoom on the computer. Like, yes, it's
Your issue is something not related to power.
You
Yeah.
should have been like, oh wait, let me check to see if the computer I'm on talking to you is plugged in.
Exactly. Like, come on,
Or
man.
what's the second thing? If it's a computer issue, for me, it's like, is it plugged in? Turn it off, turn it back on. Often fixes
Power
it.
cycle. Mhm.
Yeah. So anyway, that I thought was just funny because I was like, oh, I know the answer. But I've also been the dummy who like, oh yeah, plug that in.
Yep.
Query, have you been on or done any weird interviews, funny interviews, strange interviews? Had any interesting interview questions?
So this is going to sound like I got a huge ego, but I don't think I've ever had a bad interview that I've been the person being interviewed. I go, for some reason, it's the weirdest thing. I don't have a lot of confidence when it comes to everything, but for some reason, I go into interviews like I don't care. And it comes off with a lot of confidence because I let everything flow. I've had, I can't remember if I ever had, like, walked out of the interview like I did horrible. I don't think I have, to be honest with you. Now, granted, I haven't had an interview for a whole lot of jobs, especially my last recent ones, because they were word of mouth, and I'm just pretty cool, you know what I mean? But I have had some people, I wouldn't say it's bad.
Yeah.
It's just some people don't know when to not overshare, you know?
Yeah.
So you'll be asking them questions, and you're just like, so what do you do when you're outside? What is your, you know how they used to ask, like, what's your hobbies? Oh, well, you know, I like to, catch rats in the park and do that, this, that, whatever. And it's like, and they'll just keep going. They'll just keep going. And it's like, like, you answered it. Like, let me get the next question out.
But what do you do as an interviewer? Like, oh yeah.
Yeah, because you don't want to interrupt. Well, part of me wanted to know how far this was going to go, too. It's like, But when I was working in New Jersey, I had a lot of temp workers where I had to do an interview. And I was like, for a temp worker, I never had to do interviews. I was like, you guys did that. You know, you're the agency we're going through, but they still wanted us to do secondary. And yeah, I mean, some of them they'll be just honest. Like, oh man, I just got out yesterday, just trying to look for something. I got bills to pay, and I'm like, well, I get it. And usually those are the ones I kept too, because they were brutally honest. But there were some people that were just, it's like they were just trying to do too much or say too much, thinking that was gonna help them or impress or something. And it's like, no, just keep it sweet and simple. Yeah. But as far as me, nah, man, I kill in interviews.
You got to answer the question. Sweet, simple, but answer the question.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't. How about you? You could nothing. You can say pass.
Well, I can think of a time where it wasn't that it was a bad interview because I was accidentally doing poorly. It was once I got more of a description of what I was going to be doing, I realized I don't want to be here. I kind of felt rude just saying, hey, I don't want to be here. I'm going to leave. So I just answered the questions like shit. I would do one-word answers, or they're like, here, sell us your phone. And I'm like, it does notes. That's all I said. I purposely bombed the interview just to make it go quick.
You're like, just give me
so that I could get out of there. I knew I didn't want the job. I was like, nah. I was like 18. It wasn't like a big deal. It wasn't career changing.
18-year-olds. I hire a lot of them. And younger. Yeah. Oh, me?
Yeah. What about you?
I have been offered nearly every single. I did fail one interview, and it was for a restaurant. Okay. And the question was, and I'll pose it to you. And you're working a shift. I was trying to be a waiter. I was a waiter. You're working a shift, and you see your best friend who works with you take a shot of alcohol. What do you do?
Take a shot with him.
That's the honest question. Answer. I said, oh, you know what? I go up and talk to him. See, what's something going on with you? What's going on? Well, what's the correct answer?
Oh, you were confrontational. You should
No. I was like, oh my, hey, are you okay? Anything I should know about? You want to talk it out?
No, you go to management.
Exactly. You tattle
always
on your
go to
best
management.
friend. That's what you're
Snitches
supposed to
get
say.
stitches.
You
though.
tattle on your best friend.
Nah.
And I didn't get the job.
You
Also, there were a
understand?
couple other things where I messed up the interview. I realized, the correct answer was this, not what I said. But I learned that. But I've never been asked that question before, necessarily. So I didn't get that job, which is fine. But I did some fun interviews that I remember having. A woman had on her resume that she would go above and beyond the job description, both in and outside of work, and came in dressed like a stripper. And we weren't quite sure what that meant.
I think you know exactly what
We had a
meant.
good chuckle. Did she get hired?
Yeah.
No, she didn't.
I mean, no.
But we all just were like, this is hilarious. Based how she approached and looked, it was like, this is just funny. Because she was throwing her sexuality at a bunch of guys, thinking that was going to get her the job. I've had a person who, maybe I shouldn't say this. This was not where I currently work. And the place that happened at, it closed, so there's no lawsuits that can be had. So this one also happened there. A woman came in, and I interviewed her, and I liked her. I thought she was great, right? And my name is typically currently associated with women, you know? And then the person that she went on to next interview is a name that could be both, but often is typically associated with a man. And she came in with a little bit too much cleavage for the person. Oh, no. She was like, I didn't hire her because she had too much cleavage. And it wasn't even that bad. Oh. It was just the right amount. But I was just like, that's funny. It's like the weird little reasons people don't get hired. Yeah. Sometimes it's just people's. It has nothing to do with their qualifications. But I only hire based off qualifications.
So you're judging based on the amount of cleavage, too?
I don't. I don't take that into consideration. You just said it was just
the right amount.
That was my personal.
That means you have a scale ready.
That was my personal assessment, not my professional assessment. Huh. Damn. Called out. Damn.
Hey, you know what's funny?
Damn.
We're all pretty high up in our industries as far as levels of what we do now. And I'm thinking about that whole like snitching. Essentially, they want to know if you're a snitch. Yeah. My suggestion to everyone, tell them, essentially tell them. Yeah,
whether you're gonna or not,
exactly.
Tell them you are.
Exactly. That's not the time to be like, I got street code. Mm-hmm. This is work code. Tell them what they want to hear.
Exactly.
They want to hear, you know what? I would go to management, let them know, let them handle the situation. In reality, you might be like, give me like a halfie. You know what I mean? But you got to tell them that.
Exactly.
Because I'm sure there's a lot of people like, they'll do the same way because it'll naturally be like, I ain't saying nothing.
Well, no, I'm the management they have to go to.
Exactly. And you already know they're going to take that shot.
No, they don't. Nobody at my place ever does anything wrong. And neither do I.
They never seen a movie Waiting.
That's spectacular.
Perfect. We're perfect at what we do. We are perfect humans. We're angels. We're all perfect angels.
So I have a question that I ask in interviews. I can't usually hire based off of qualifications because I have to train everyone to do what we do. Mm-hmm. So do you guys want to hear the question first, or do you want to hear my reasoning first?
Question, I guess. Yeah. And then we're going to answer it.
Okay.
Some might answer. I won't commit to that yet.
Tell me 10 ways you can use a pencil besides writing.
Yeah, I'm not answering.
Poke it in their eye. Poke it in their jugular.
Okay,
that's
so
two.
So as a weapon,
sorry,
that's
this
one.
First way that went as a weapon.
Sounds like you're in the sexual harassment scenario. Jesus.
See, right off the bat, I'm like 10. like 3, maybe. Okay. So we got the question. Now, what is the conclusion? What is the
reason?
The reason, yeah.
So I need people who can think on their feet. As I'm training them, anytime you're training someone from scratch, there's a little bit of fake it till you make it.
Okay.
And I need to know if you can think on your feet. Or are you just going to stand there like a deer in the headlights when someone asks you a question that maybe you've never heard before?
That's valid. I feel like you usually have that one question that you know is not in your prep. if you prep for interviews.
Mhm.
So that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
So if you have 2 pencils, chopsticks, you can use the eraser.
You didn't say
Are
two
you
pencils. You said
specifying?
one
Yeah.
pencil.
Are you
You didn't
starting
say
it out
two.
saying you get 2
said-
pencils?
You didn't say two.
I said, tell me a way you can use a pencil besides writing.
Yeah, well, okay. I just thought
But
one. So I
you
guess
said
I'm not
one.
thinking outside the box enough. I'm like, hey,
Now, if you
clarify
said,
how
tell me
many
a way you can
pencils
use
do
a
I got?
box of pencils.
If I was
I
in
can come up
elementary,
with way more options.
if I was in elementary school, pencil fighting.
Again, that's just
Trading them for other resources if you have a whole box of them.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now, when is that going to come into play? Anyway, but I think that's
I'm
an
saying like
interesting.
school. Like
interesting-
you're talking about school.
I think this has been an interesting conversation. I have a question I ask, and I don't know if you guys have any different questions, but mine is to describe yourself in 3 words.
Totally
after I
tubular. Awesome.
totally tubular, awesome, dude. Then some people do have fun ones like that. Yeah,
Like?
I don't know.
there you
Ooh,
go.
There you go. Hey.
I don't know myself.
Perfect 3 words.
That was 4 actually.
I don't
but I
know,
said
I
it was
know.
3.
Well, sometimes because I'm a kind person,
Oh, you just throwing it
I hyphenate them, and I say that I was like that's 4, but I'll just hyphenate that last one.
hyphenated. Okay.
Okay.
I say I'm serious but lighthearted.
Oh. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So clever you are.
Hyphenated. Lighthearted is hyphenated. Or
Yeah.
one word.
It's
Uh-oh.